What's up, everybody? This is there we go. Jackie and Stephana of Happily Married Couples, and we're back again with another keeping couples connected during COVID-19. And we have a kind of a spur of the moment topic that we're going to talk about today. So we're looking forward to that. So as we are getting all together and sharing this post all around, when you come into the when you come into the live, just let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're calling in from. And for us married couples, let us know what you did this past weekend. What was your date night? How did you handle that? We didn't do it, did we?
We did not.
We are in trouble because we've been telling y'all to do it and we didn't do it. So
need y'all to hold us accountable too,
right?
Evidently.
All right, let me get this shared and everything where it's supposed to be. I'll be honest. Today is Tuesday, right?
Yep.
All right. I really don't know some days what day it is of the week. I think Wednesday is about the most normal day because we always have a standing meeting on Wednesday. But outside of that, it's kind of don't even know. All right, were you able to share it?
Nope.
So go to our page in our group.
The group or the page?
Not our group. You have to share from the page. So hope everybody is having a good day out there. It's gloomy here in Indiana, so that never helps. Just the spirits and all that type of stuff. So we got to figure a way to bring our own sunshine on days like this. Let me share this real quick. Boom. All right. Being busier. Sorry, guys. All right. So I was going to say something I completely forgot. Oh, if you are just joining and you haven't joined, first, let me introduce us in case there's some people that aren't really familiar with us or maybe just know us as our kids' parents. Sometimes that can be the case with your parents or whatever you know us from. But we are Jackie and Stephana Bledsoe, and we are the founders of Happily Married Couples. And Happily Married Couples is a brand that we created that will help you do three things: connect deeper with your spouse, communicate better, and create a marriage worth celebrating. So that's what we're here to help you out with. And we've been doing these Facebook Lives for the past couple of weeks, about week into the shutdown, into the stay-at-home order, I guess, is that what it's called? And just trying to find a topic to talk about that we can help you guys out with, because we're all under different circumstances right now than we've ever been before. And it could put some pressure on a couple in a marriage and a family, or it could just be where you're just so bored you don't know what to do, so you need some creative ideas to kind of keep things going in your household. So that's what we're here to do today. We're hoping you will join us, and not just join us, but click the share button, invite some friends to it, start a watch party if you know how to do that. So get that going. But today, did I miss anything?
Nope, you got it.
I got it. All right. Excuse me. Today, we are talking about, I posted if you're not in our Facebook group, Happily Married Couples Facebook group, make sure you join there, because that's where we kind of start some of these conversations, and some of the ideas come from there. So we take that based on what people are dealing with and talking about, and kind of take that on here and other places. But today in the group, I asked a question, and that question led to another question. Where's it at? I asked the question first to all the married couples in the group. The question was, how are you doing? Just basic question. How are you doing? How's your marriage doing during quarantine life? And we got some really, some couples that are really enjoying it right now, which is exciting and encouraging, that they're enjoying the slowdown time. They are loving not having to be places. And then they're also just kind of reconnecting with why they were in love with their spouse. We laughing at
some of the comments. I'm excited to chat. I feel like we got some people in the chat with us today, even though it's on the post rather than the live.
Yeah, so we're going to be chatting in with sharing some of the stuff, some of the comments that people are talking about in there, as well as whoever joins us on this Facebook Live as well. But the question was, how's your marriage doing while quarantined? And there were a bunch of 25 comments so far, and we just posted about an hour ago. But there were a bunch of people who's like, yeah, stuff is great, stuff is going good. And there were other people's like, man, life is hectic, and it's impacting all areas. And so I found out that our reality, and not saying us here and just meaning us, but your reality, any couple who reality during this stay-at-home order, during this quarantine and crisis, is not the same reality as other people. Because for a week or so, I just felt like everybody was shut down and doing what we were doing. You know, then I came to the realization that there are people out there, of course, that have to be out there because they're in the medical profession and they got to be on the front lines. There are people who's maybe work at Walmart or these different places where they got to supply food and make sure that people have the day-to-day stuff to live. Of course, law enforcement, firemen and things like that. We have a good family friend who is a fireman. And I think I seen today that they posted that somebody at one of the firehouses in Indianapolis had COVID-19 or coronavirus, whatever you're calling it. So everybody's reality is not the same. So while some are like, man, this is crazy, stressful, hectic, others like, man, this is the most peaceful, most enjoying, time that we've had, slow down time that we've had in a while. So that led me to asking the question, follow-up question. I posted this on my personal page, is whose life is actually busier or more hectic during quarantine life? And to my surprise, the answers kind of flooded in. Everybody's raising their hands like me. I'm more busy because of this. So we want to ask you guys that same question. First, how is your marriage during quarantine life? And then second, are you on that side whose life is actually busier or more hectic during this time?
Yeah.
What would you say we are, babe?
I think it feels it's slower, but it doesn't feel less busy. And I think I feel like the days that we have actually taken an intentional break in a pause from the regular routine of what we would normally be doing, I feel a little bit guilty about it. It feels like, man, I let that whole day go by and nothing got done, versus feeling refreshed and like that was deserved and that was needed.
Yep.
And it's okay. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag of feelings for me.
Yeah, that was key. What you said there is kind of feeling guilty. And I felt that way too. It's like I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday, one of those days we did nothing. And when I say did nothing, I think if it was Sunday, we went to church first. So maybe it was Saturday.
Yep, it was Saturday.
So it was Saturday. So actually we did a little something, but it was still sitting around. So we woke up Saturday and we went to an online conference. It was a business conference by one of my mentors. And that was from 10 to 4. So we basically sat at the kitchen table, we were really engaged in it, but also ate and did all kinds of other stuff, but didn't multitask like with really, going around doing laundry and stuff like that. We focused on that. So that was the thing that we did that day. Then at 4 o'clock, shut it down. I think you might have went and taken a nap.
I did. Yep.
And then I came and sat down in front of Netflix and tried to catch up with my son, who's been watching All American. And he's like 10 episodes ahead of me. So I had to catch up with that. And that turned into episode, just how Netflix plays it back, the next one automatically, into just sitting, going to get an eat break, come back. And then I watched that so long, she finally woke up. And then she came and sat down. She had never seen it before. So I'm pausing. It's like, okay, here's who this character is. And I'm loving the show and explaining to her. And so we ended up watching the entire second season after you woke up. Now it was probably 6 to 8 episodes.
Yeah, it was a lot more TV than we probably watch normally in a week.
That was like a month's worth of TV at one particular sitting. So we watched that show and got all the way through it. I actually fell asleep on the last episode of season 2 and had to watch it on Monday or Sunday. I think it was Sunday night late. So anyway, we did that. And honestly, that was the first time that I really didn't feel the guilt of I'm not doing something. Typically, if I do that, sit down and watch a show or do something and I'm not really trying to work or be productive or knock off some stuff on my task list, then I'm feeling guilty. That time, I just really kind of relinquished it and it felt good. But there was still a little twinge of it, just not as heavy as it was. So it makes me wonder, as we, some people's responsibilities as leaders and, especially we work with a lot of pastors, like the whole game has changed for them. So especially those pastors that don't already have a team or the experience or the knowledge to kind of take, this from in-person meetings and services to all online, doing it from home. But it makes me think, for many of us, are we finding other things to fill that up, even though we're in the house? Because I got a list of projects right now, work related, home related. And every day I've been saying it. It's like, man, babe, we've been in here for 3 weeks. I feel like I ain't made no progress on none of these. But I know that's adding to, kind of making us more busy than we should be.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I just shared them.
No, what I just said.
I don't understand.
You weren't listening,
the
were you? She wasn't listening, y'all.
I think I just answered the question that he asked me to answer again. I don't know what you're talking about.
So anyway, let me look in the chat, see what's going on. We're going to share some of these comments and some of the people some of the people have said, if I can find it, about their lives during this time period. It's an interesting dynamic to me.
Pastor Colby.
Pastor Colby up in here?
Yeah.
What's up, my brother? Hold on. So for those who are just joining us, the question is, is your life actually busier, more hectic in quarantine life than it was prior to quarantine life? I know it's just a slowdown, but we're finding through some conversations, and specifically through a couple of questions that were asked on Facebook today, that there is a group of people whose lives are more busy, and they're trying to figure it out right now. So that's what we're kind of dissecting. It's like, okay, not only like, how does this happen? Why does this happen? But what do we do as a couple because this is not going to last forever. And so if we don't take advantage of this time right here, this is a once in a lifetime, once in a generation opportunity, I'm going to say, that we have to really kind of just spend time and slow down and gather ourselves from what has become a life filled with information and schedules and busyness. So I am going to jump in here. See Kobe giving a shout out and see what was said in this. Y'all got so many windows open. Let me find the right window. All right, here we go. So we got some people that said depends on the day. We got some people that say their life is, I asked why their life's so busy. Say cooking all the meals. So menus, shopping, prep, cook, clean up, all that exhausting. And then you throw everybody in there. And other people who are like, man, I was working from home for years, but now I'm working from home and our kids are home too. And so now I got to figure out how to e-learn or teach, help them out with their e-learning. I got to figure out how to coexist with everybody in the house. It kind of disrupted my flow right there. So hold on, there was something I wanted to read. Some people have more opportunities at work that are coming up. I don't know why I'm looking down here and I got the screen right there. IT workers, pastors, churches, and things like that. So what can we do as a couple to make sure we don't miss this as we're in it? Because I just told Stephana, I was like, one, we've been in this for 3 weeks and this seems like 3 months. So I feel like the few little things that I said I want to take advantage of during this downtime, I haven't done. I feel like I've missed out internally. That's the battle that I go with. So I think one of the first things that we can do is just kind of let go. Even during the slowdown, some things we just have to be like, you know what, it's okay. The world is not going to end, although it feels like it is, if I can just let go for this one day, for this 1 hour, for this time period, and just relinquish all the things that are on my heart, all the things that are on my mind, on my task list, and get refreshed and come back. So what do you think? How can we do that?
I think if we set some things in place, honor those. So I think that's the major way, is that we control what we allow to happen during this time. And there's a lot of other times where it feels like we are not necessarily in control, but we have an opportunity right now to do what we say we're going to do because we're here, we have the time. So we get to choose what we put into those time blocks. So if we can honor what we said we're going to do, that's one way to accomplish. And I think feel like we accomplished something because we set it out there and we did what we said we were going to do.
Yeah, I think that's big. And we just talked about this before we went live is, we went on a week ago and gave some date night ideas on what to do at home. And we have yet to do one of those ideas since that time. We started the year off with the 52 dates challenge where we were dating every week. Some weeks we got more than one date because of a trip or something like that. And I wasn't allowed to count that because my wife wouldn't let me count that because it had to be separated by a week, but we did date. So, but no, what she said is important is we get to choose. One of my mentors, Michael Hyatt, it teaches the concept of writing out your ideal week and putting in place what you want to do for your ideal week. Now, we don't always accomplish our ideal week for whatever reason, but I feel like now we have an opportunity to create our ideal day, our ideal week, and then we're on stay-at-home order pretty much. Well, we got a couple weeks, but the kids are e-learning through the end of May or the end of April. I'm assuming the stay-at-home order will extend to that as well. But we have the choice to create our ideal week and month and put the practices and develop the habits, make time for those things that we want to do that are going to help us in our marriage, and first that are going to help us ourselves. So that's one thing right here. I want to jump in the comment and see what people are saying. So Pastor Colby said, it's a different kind of busy. I definitely agree with that. It's busy. It's not running all around, but it's a different kind of busy. So homeschool for the kids, connect with the congregation, figure out how to innovate in the new era of church, prioritize self-care, and be present for my wife. Huge. Somebody said, this John in our group said, I believe God is reshaping our families and putting our priorities back to him first and our spouses second and kids next. Praise God for your ministry. Man, that is something I've been saying for the last 2 weeks. Thank you for sharing that. I truly, truly believe that there is a shift happening right now. And I'm not saying, I do believe that every single thing that happens is either God calls or God allowed. I'm not saying that God calls the coronavirus and all that type of stuff, but I do see within this him at work. And the way I see him at work is there is a shift that is happening and going back to putting family first and making family the center of our lives. Second to him, of course, versus all the other activities and all the other agendas that we have. Right. I'm grew up playing sports, played all the way through college basketball, played as an adult in adult leagues after that. And now I got my kids and I'm coaching them and watching them. And I noticed that Sundays are no longer sacred. In high school, we couldn't have anything on Sundays. Now you got tournaments. Now you got different things. Sunday is like the most filled sports day of the year. So the shift has been outward. Now I think there is a shift coming back with family at the center. And I want to take advantage of it, not just now, but I want to put some habits and some things in place that are going to outlast the coronavirus stay-at-home orders and shutdowns and crisis and all that type of stuff. Yeah. So
it's a great opportunity. It feels like a great opportunity for us to step back. I think Pastor Colby said that in here too, that is giving him more focus, more time to think, plan, and be more focused on what's most beneficial and important. That's key. I feel the same way. I feel like it's slowed down. It's not less busy necessarily, but it's slowed down so that you can gain some perspective and, like Jackie said, to choose how we move forward from this. Like, are we going to just jump right back in when we're able to, or are we going to recognize that God slowed this down, allowed this slowed down period for a purpose, and how are we going to come out of that? How are we going to use that gained wisdom from this time?
Yep. Hey, shout out. I want to say hey to Michelle. I saw you said hey to us in the group. Glad you joined us. Michelle used to be at TWC.
Okay, Michelle.
I can't pronounce your last name. I always mess it up.
It's Young.
Oh, what am I looking at in the?
That's her maiden name.
Oh, got it. All right. So, yes, this is a great opportunity. So what are we going to do about it? We're in here. We don't want to live hectic lives. Some of us have responsibilities that we can't get away from. Yeah. But those are not 24-hour responsibilities. So again, Stephana said we got a chance to choose, but more importantly, we got to honor those things that we set in place. We have been guilty of not doing that, not lining up and saying, okay, got a date night. I think the other day you was cleaning, I was working. It was supposed to be our date night. I had actually moved our date night from the day it normally is to the next day. We still didn't do it.
Anytime that happens, that seems to be an indicator that it's not good. when we change something in the calendar that's date night, we're putting something else in its place. I'm just telling y'all, don't do it. It hasn't worked for us.
So hold on, let's unpack this. Hold on just a second. So is that why you started cleaning in there?
No, that was already the plan.
Oh, that was planned?
Yeah.
How you gonna plan that during date night time?
It started a week ago. And since we had no date night plan, we didn't. I got y'all. He don't want me to really unpack this. I get a text that I tagged you in something on Facebook with less than an hour left of an online concert, and then tagged me date night.
Because I was kind of get you to come out the wherever you was doing back there, and I didn't know that was online. He was already online. I just happened to discover it.
Right, no plan, like I said.
So y'all, we're going to unpack this, but we don't have a lot of time to unpack it right now. So we'll have to table that. So remind us to unpack this date night conversation and rescheduling and moving the calendar. I do agree that you can't be taking stuff out of the calendar, but I had something planned. She just don't know I had something planned, and I needed that time, but we'll have to unpack it later after we get a chance to.
I'll be looking forward to the unpacking.
All right, back to the topic at hand. See, somebody posted a meme in there with a dog just like laid out on a pole. Me at this point this week. It's only Tuesday, so I feel you. That's
Kobe
real.
Told me, come on, tell the truth, shame the devil, Stephana. Amen.
Hey, just let me unpack it. So let me unpack it. We can't do it today. We got 8 minutes. We promised that when we come on these lives that we will be done by 5:30. 5 to 5:30 we'll be done. So this will be a subject for another day to be unpacked. And I promise y'all, it will be worth it once we get a chance to unpack it. So come back for that one. Kobe said I'm busted. Let me jump in here real quick. See what we got going on. There's so many comments, y'all. We got 3 different posts going on, and I'm trying to figure out which ones to somebody said, I think people are learning how tough video really is, especially when you have to do anything post with it.
I was on a work Zoom this afternoon, and somebody said they are Zoom. I think they said Zoom exhausted. No, Zoom fatigue. That's what they said. They are experiencing Zoom fatigue. So you gotta
chill out.
I mean, we gotta find creative ways. We can't just get on here. Like, for instance, we saw a good friend of ours who's doing Sunday dinner with their family on Zoom. I think that's an excellent idea. It's not necessarily just a meeting or talking that you're listening to, but it is really trying to fellowship. And that's what we're hoping will happen in here too. We love how y'all talking back to us today. We're just not able to keep up with it quite quick enough. But that is meaningful, especially for those of us, like Pastor Colby posted earlier, the extroverts who need that one-on-one, that personal connection. The fellowship is missed. Yeah. And that's real. So
finding ways to recreate that interaction, that social interaction that we're missing face to face is great. But I also think that we're all experiencing the life of someone who works from home on a regular basis. So when you work from home, we've experienced that both of us have worked from home at some point in time. When you work from home, there is a tendency for everything to bleed over. So there's no separation between work and home. You can pull up your laptop, you can pull up your phone. Mm-hmm. If phone is part of your business or your work, get on that phone call anytime and handle some work-related transactions or tasks. We are all experiencing that right now. And now, even those who were doing it before, like the guy said earlier, I forgot who that was. Like, I already work from home, so that was my thing. I know how to do it. But now I got my kids here that are schooling from home, and my wife is home as well. And we got all these different dynamics. So there's no separation. So we have to figure out how to get that separation. And I've always been like, everybody's a little bit different, but I do think during this time period, there has to be start and stop times. There has to be some of the things that you do at work. When I work from home, I try not to recreate a regular work environment because that's why I don't want to work in an office. And, I prefer being flexible and being able to move. But I think now in this situation, we got to create those. Take a lunch break, take a 15-minute walk break. I don't encourage smoking, but people who smoke, take your break, whatever break that you need, get your break. Create a new habit during that 15-minute smoke break that you would normally do at work. But take those breaks and figure out how to keep things like shut down and say, we are going to have dinner at 6 o'clock tonight. Because we could the ability to have dinner at 5 or 6 o'clock before quarantine life was diminished to none because of sports and other activities. Typically dinner would be later. So now we have the opportunity to say, here's the time we actually are going to eat dinner.
It's true.
And we've eaten a lot of meals in front of the TV during this time period. But we have had some at the kitchen table, which used to be a staple of ours when we were homeschooling, working from home, and that was our lifestyle. So now we're trying to get back to that. One of the problems is that we got so much stuff in here now because everything's brought home, that stuff is all over the place. But you got to find a way to clear out that space. One of the suggestions is for the kids that are working is clear out a space that can be their school zone, that they do their work and think and all that. When you work from home, clear out a space that you can do that. Clear out a space that is going, if life from outside has overrun your life inside now because you had to bring work stuff home and all that type of stuff, or just overrun because you're stacking up on toilet paper and can't nobody get no toilet paper, whatever it may be, find a space that is your family space that you clear out. And when you get in that space, it's not movie time. It's not phone time. It's not surfing Facebook time. It's not doing, all these different TikTok video time. It's just time for you to interact, read a book, talk to each other with your family. And the same, and even more important, is make sure that there's a sacred cleared out space for you and your spouse as well. Those are two things that we got to do, is we got to have those times and those opportunities set aside so that way we don't get to the habit. Because what's going to happen when we have this habit created during this downtime, when we go back to regular work, it's going to be even harder to break those habits that we put into place. So now is the time to create good habits that are the things that you want to last after this. You have no excuse not to. And if you're challenged with it right now, you got to figure a way. That's the best I can say, is you got to figure a way.
Yep.
All right. Let me jump in here real quick. See who we got in the chat. Y'all, do you have any questions while we're sitting here? I guess we got enough people on here engaging on all the different comment or threads that I got out there. What questions or concerns do you have for your marriage and your household right now during this? Outside of, the concerns about health and all that type of stuff. I think everybody's concerned about that, but just the functionality of how you're living in your house, and are you a bit more busy than you should be or not? Let's see. I need somebody. We need to have our daughter run this in the background because all these comments, I can't keep up. Let me look at them right there. Somebody said they're more busy than they ever have been, working, communicating with people, especially those alone. Don't understand the notion of being bored or working on projects or working on puzzles. Like I don't get that.
Tell us, what are some of the good habits that you're trying to implement? I could tell you one that we're trying to implement is we are trying to implement more game nights. So that's more family oriented than it is about marriage, but it'll be healthy for the marriage too. So we just bought about 5 board games that we're going to try to have regular game nights throughout the week versus sitting in front of Netflix or scrolling our phones, or, everybody being in their own zone. Try to come together and do something and have fun, get back to the basics on some stuff, learn how to enjoy time together. Yeah,
y'all, almost for the last 3 days, every day we got a game delivered to the house that somebody's gone in an order. We got apples to apples. We went old school and got Twister. We got literally right over here on the other side of this camera is like 5 games, and the kids are super, super excited about it. They're most excited about Twister. So I'm excited about it too. So we're going to break those out tonight, but we got to just be intentional. That's in summary. We're not going to stay on here. It's 5:30 now, so we're going to wrap it up.
Colby asked us to revisit some of the date night ideas we had, the quarantine date ideas. So let's see. I remember one of them was to do a picnic in the house. It could be in the house or it could be outside if weather permits. But that's a one that you don't have to go anywhere to do. You can do it right here. I just saw a really great one that a friend of mine posted that they are doing carry out. Jackie and I our family's not eating out right now, but you can do carry out from the house if you're not eating out from restaurants. But do carry out, have it in the car, and listen to an audiobook together. That was a date night idea that is within the parameters of the stay-at-home order. What was another one? Watch Party, Netflix Watch Party.
Yep.
That was one.
What was
Trying
the
to
other one?
remember. There were some good ones.
Yeah, we'll have to share that. We'll go back and reshare that post so everybody can see it. And then maybe I'll summarize them and throw it on the blog. So I'll throw it on the blog so you guys can come and check them out, print them out, save them. Yeah, there were some good ones on there. I forgot what the other one. Sunset. Oh yeah.
Sunset, sunrise.
Sunset, sunrise. So get it, sit out on your back porch, front porch, whatever time. If you want to do early, depending on what the sun is doing at that time. Get your favorite Spotify list, playlist, some sort of playlist. Grab you your favorite drink, whatever that may be, and sit out there and just watch the sunset, watch the sunrise, and enjoy yourselves. And stay away from the kids. Lock them up on the inside.
There's one you can put the kids to bed early. It was dessert in a movie, I think. That's one that I tried to do with us, and I got clowned about it. So that didn't work out.
Who clowned you?
I brought home cheesecake, and you joked about the cheesecake.
Oh, I did? I don't remember that.
The little cheesecake. I found little cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory, but I brought it from the grocery store, and I brought it home, and he said, "What is that? You gonna bring me some little piece of cheesecake?" Tell me about my little date night idea. I said, well,
actually,
guess we won't do that.
I do remember saying that. But what I was meaning is I'm not eating cheesecake. I'm trying to avoid that stuff. So
I tried. I had a plan and I tried to implement it. It was a no-go.
You did a great job. Way to go. Give me some. She's not feeling that
y'all
right
pray
now.
For us.
We're going to unpack some stuff, y'all. We need 45 minutes a day because my wife's bringing up stuff that we weren't supposed to be talking about right now and just getting diverted from the real thing is whose life is actually busier or more hectic during quarantine life.
That's missing fellowship, y'all. This is fellowship.
All right, y'all. Anything else? Any questions before we close out? Any suggestions? Anything that you guys have been doing to kind of just...
Michelle posted a good one. Sorry, y'all, we're going a little bit over time today, but we're loving the interaction, and that's what we've been wanting to happen all along. But Michelle says maybe we can talk about how to encourage our spouses when they are discouraged during this time of quarantine. Idea for future talks. Definitely. We definitely need to tackle that one in future lives.
So how to encourage your spouse when they're down.
That's a great one.
Yeah, because I imagine, depression, mental health is a real thing even before this. I imagine that will escalate it during this time period. And even though we're surrounded by people in our house, most of us, we can still feel isolated, still go through those time periods. So now the spouse that may not have seen that on a regular basis now may see it front and center.
Yeah.
And so we got to figure out ways to be able to come alongside and love on and encourage and be there for our husband, be there for our wives.
Right.
And that's just, that's a good topic. We remember that because I don't remember.
Thank you, Michelle.
You like it or something like that. All right. Anybody else before we shut it down? Let's see.
Pastor Kobe Twister might save somebody's marriage.
Hey, it might. Right now we got to go back to the kid in us. Because right now we all are dealing with some grown folk problems that we didn't anticipate that we we're gonna have to deal with. I like it. All right.
Good stuff. Thank y'all tonight for joining us in the conversation. Love that.
Yep. Hey, before we go, be sure to like, love, whatever, this video, and be sure to share it with other people because there's somebody that wasn't able to show up here at 5 o'clock, and we'll share it later, but they may not be in our network. So make sure you share with your friends, other couples that could use this, and tell everybody about it. 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday, we're here sharing what's on our heart, sharing what we're dealing with.
Keeping couples connected.
Keeping y'all connected. So if you're not already in the group, Happily Married Couples on Facebook, either go to happilymarriedcouples.com, click that link, it'll take you directly to it. Or if you're in Facebook now, just search for Happily Married Couples in the top. Find our group right there. We have a group and a page. We want you in both, like the page, but definitely join the group because that's where the conversation starts. And sometimes that's where it finishes, and these videos are going live in there as well. So bless you guys. We will see you tomorrow. And stay healthy, stay home, and stay connected, y'all.
See you tomorrow.